than just numbers. For each number that we see, there's a family that is affected. There are communities and futures may be lost. And it reminds us that while the cause of birth may be too soon, our response must never be too late or differentiated by virtue of the geography, the wealth, or the facility within which the child is born or the baby is born. The theme that we have adopted this year emphasizes equity, equitable care for every preterm baby, which means that whether the baby is born in a well-resourced urban teaching hospital or in a remote rural health center, they do deserve access to high quality, respectful, compassionate, and timely care. It also means that the frontline health workers have to be trained and have to be supported so that they can provide the appropriate care that is needed for these babies and their families. Over the course of the month, that is November, and even beyond that, we, the Pediatric Society of Ghana, will be advocating for strengthened clinical mentorship and capacity building so that neonatal and maternal units across all regions can deliver evidence-based care for our preterm babies. Also, we will advocate for improved infrastructure, referral systems, and supplies so that no baby is left waiting when the time is critical. Community awareness is also very important. Dr. Mate mentioned bits of that in his speech, and it's important that we highlight that as well and talk about skin to skin contact, breastfeeding support, and follow up care for all those who survive prematurity. Then also we need to work on policy action that ensures financing, workforce distribution, and monitoring systems that prioritize the smallest and most vulnerable babies. He mentioned the conference, that's the maiden conference that we will be having on the 20th and 21st November. And here I must say again, a big congratulations to the Ashanti Region branch for all the work that they are doing in spearheading our advocacy in prematurity awareness in Ghana. A big round of applause to them all. And thank you all very much to those who are supporting our sponsors, our partners, to every one of you. We see you and we appreciate all the work that you do across Ghana to improve the lives of the little ones, the babies that we all care for. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Okay. Sorry about the noise. So at this session of the program, we would like to invite some of our dignitaries to share a word with us. I would like to start with our host, which is Komfanochi Teaching Hospital. And this afternoon, we are being graced with the presence of our Deputy Medical Director of Komfanochi Teaching Hospital. Welcome, and the floor is yours. Thank you very much, Dr. Labi.
Thank you very much, Dr. Marty. Good afternoon to everyone present here. I believe I got a call from Dr. Minta about today's program. So I'm aware that the rep for the regional director is here. And I'm sure there are other invited people here and staff as well. So I'd like to welcome you all and acknowledge your presence. And I'm also privileged to be here representing management. Yeah, there are so many meetings going on today. I've been in a few back to back. Yeah, so please pardon me for arriving late. As your theme says, Prematurity Awareness Month, equitable care for every preterm baby. Now, this is it's apt because as an obstetrician gynecologist, we are the ones who are likely to pass on the babies to the pediatricians, the pediatric nurses, neonatologists, neonatal nurses in various parts, in Konfanochi and other parts of the country. And we are growing, all of us are growing in our knowledge on how to care for our women and the babies. So as an obstetrician, as I said, it's our duty to ensure that women get the best of care during pregnancy. We know that some of our clients are at risk of preterm delivery, and some too can be preventable. For instance, for them, those who have cervical weakness, if the indication is there, then you have to do it for them. If you anticipate that someone is going to deliver early, then you can also mature the lungs by giving steroids. So we know a number of things we have to do, but sometimes you cannot predict. Yes. So it's important that with those of us, midwives, obstetrician gynecologists, or anyone who takes care of pregnant women has to make sure that we do our risk assessments very well, and so that we can connect with our colleagues in the pediatric area, so that we work together, so that when we have such problems, we deliver any clients early. They also are aware and they are well prepared. Sometimes we are not prepared anyway, but when it does come, we must have certain things in place. Now, when it comes to the main thing too, when we look across the country from the south to the north, we always realize the concentration of health facilities in the south, and as you go up to the north, you realize that then the concentration of health facilities begins to go down. And it means that also the availability of facilities to take care also becomes more and more difficult to access. So it's important that both clinicians, those in management, the government, all stakeholders get together to ensure that we can have the requisite facilities, I'll say even the minimum acceptable, which improves the chances of our babies who are born prematurely, improves their chances of survival. All of us here, we are here because we are health workers, or we are connected to health workers. And I believe there are health workers in here who have had their babies admitted at the NICU. One of our professors, Prof. Plant, told us her story, and she's a neonatologist. And she told us the story of her own children being born before that time. Yes, so we've all experienced it. So during this month that we are focusing on prematurity, our focus should also be on how do we best care for these babies? How do we support the families into which these babies are born? So taking care of a preterm baby, either at home or in the hospital, can also be very stressful as well. So we have to ensure that the logistic and emotional and psychological and social needs, which are required to ensure that we give the best care to our children, to give them space, and other related disciplines. Congratulate you on observing this month. I've seen that there'll be a number of activities, and it's my prayer that everything will go on well. Prematurity, we are not only going to observe it in November, we are managing them throughout the year. So let's ensure that this month, as we highlight it, it will really make an impact on all those who hear us, all those whom we are going to serve, we are going to educate, so that when we come again next year, we'll have a better story to tell. And on behalf of management, I'd like to welcome you all and also pledge our commitment to this course. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Labi, for those words. Okay. Please, those online, can you hear us? Just give us a thumbs up. Or if you're still having challenges with audio, just post in the chat. Okay, thank you very much. So as some of our dignitaries come in, we'll introduce them as and when. Okay. For every special occasion, there's always a special guest of honor. And this afternoon, I have the privilege of introducing our special guest of honor. He's a very humble man. He doesn't like long introduction. So when we asked for credentials, he said, oh, just 2 lines. That's all. Okay. And that is consistent with what the Bible says, isn't it? The first shall be what? And the last shall be the first. Okay. So he is in the person of Mr. Chum Samuel in Cancer, and he is the Deputy Director, Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council. And this afternoon, he's here representing the regional minister. So please, if you see him, you've seen the regional minister. You've seen 2 persons in one. Mr. Nkansa, you're welcome.
Good afternoon. The regional minister was supposed to join you this afternoon. Those of you who are on social media, you can track where he is now. People call him the social media minister because he wants you to follow him and know whatever is happening in the region. So I'm here to stand in for him and read a speech at this lunch. The chairman, Pediatric Society of Ghana, Ashanti Branch, Deputy Medical Director, Konfanochi, distinguished health professionals of the Pediatric Society of Ghana, invited guests, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is a profound honor to stand before you today as the guest of honor at the launch of the 2025 World Prematurity Awareness Month hosted by the Pediatric Society of Ghana, Ashanti Branch, in collaboration with Konfanochi Teaching Hospital and the Ghana Health Service. This year's theme, Equitable Care for Every Preterm, is timely, critical, and deeply relevant to our nation, our health system, and most importantly, for the babies, families, and communities touched by prematurity. The term preterm birth and its consequential related deaths have been with us for a very long time. In 2015, at a similar event marking World Prematurity Day, the then Deputy Director of Reproductive and Child Health of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Isabella Sego Moses, said, and I quote, "Now is the time to scale up quality care to all women and newborns for them to survive, thrive, and contribute to society." Just opposing this quote to this year's theme, equitable care for every preterm, is not only necessary to ensure equity for every preterm, but accompanied with high quality care to achieve greater survival rate among preterm babies. It therefore calls on all of us to ensure that every preterm infant, regardless of where they are born or their family's economic status, has an equal chance at survival and a healthy future. Ladies and gentlemen, globally, an estimated 15 million babies are born preterm each year, and over 1 million of them die due to complications related to prematurity. In Ghana, we are confronted by high and persistent preterm birth and its consequences. The country records about 128,000 preterm births annually, and nearly 8,400 newborns die each year as a result of these complications. Research from leading hospitals shows worrying trends. Kwalebu Teaching Hospital reports that 18.9 of singleton deliveries are preterm, while studies at Konfanochi Teaching Hospital shows prevalence rate as high as 37.3% among certain groups. These numbers are more than statistics. They represent thousands of families coping with loss, anxiety, and economic hardship. These numbers remind us that prematurity is not just an obstetric or a neonatal issue, but also an issue of public health, equity, and social justice. Too often, the survival of a preterm baby depends on geography or financial capacity. Babies born in well-resourced hospitals are more likely to receive specialized care, while those born in rural or low-resource settings face significant barriers. True equity means every baby, whether born in Kumasi, Tamale, Bogatanga, or any rural community, has access to the same standards of care, equipment, and skilled personnel. It is this vision of fairness and compassion that we must strive to make a reality. The Ghana Health Service, working in partnership and supported by the Ghana government, has taken considerable steps to address this challenge. The National Newborn Health Strategy and Action Plan 2019 to 2023 outlines comprehensive measures for improving outcomes for preterm and low birth weight babies. Families across the country are being equipped with newborn care units. Facilities across the country are being equipped with newborn care units, and health workers are receiving specialized training to manage complications such as respiratory distress and infections. Importantly, the Ministry of Health has made kangaroo mother care a national standard, helping mothers keep their babies warm, well-fed, and loved even in the absence of advanced incubators. Civil societies and development partners have also played vital roles in promoting equitable care for preterm babies. Organizations like UNICEF Ghana have championed the scale-up of newborn birth interventions and community education. Local NGOs such as Rise Ghana have intensified awareness campaign on the KMC in rural communities, empowering mothers with life-saving knowledge. Across hospitals like Zebila in the Upper East region, dedicated KMC clinics have helped countless premature infants survive and thrive. This partnership shows that when government, professionals, and communities unite, we can achieve remarkable progress. Yet, there is still much to be done. The disparities between urban and rural communities remain wide, and the lack of neonatal equipment and trained personnel and dedicated space for KMC in some areas threaten the survival of preterm babies. To truly achieve equity, we must strengthen referral systems, improve data collection, and expand follow-up care for discharged babies. We must continue to raise public awareness and support families emotionally and financially. Above all, we must ensure that no baby survivor depends on luck or location, but a strong, compassionate, and well-resourced health system that values every life equally. Mr. Chair, ladies and gentlemen, as we observe World Prematurity Awareness Month, let us renew our commitment to Ghana's preterm babies and their families. Let us invest in our hospitals, empower our nurses, and sustain partnership that bridge the gap, the equity gap. Every preterm baby deserves the same start in life, one filled with hope, love, and the promise to grow. Together, we can make equitable care for every preterm not just a theme for this month, but a lasting national commitment. Before I resume my seat, let me use this opportunity to express our heartfelt appreciation to the Pediatric Society of Ghana, the Ghana Health Service, and our international partners, such as UNICEF, for collaborative interventions over the years to improve care for preterm in our various health facilities, communities, and the country at large. Your interventions span from development of national policy and strategy and appropriate care standards, including the kangaroo, mother care, early breastfeeding, and some of the cost-effective methods, especially suited for low-resource settings. These interventions have made significant progress in the care of preterm babies and reduced the consequence of related deaths. May this year's launch inspire renewed momentum, collaboration, and hope to give every preterm baby the chance to live, grow, and thrive. May God bless our efforts, bless our preterm baby, and bless our beloved country, Ghana. Thank you for your attention.
That was a very powerful speech. Thank you so much. I like one statement particularly you made, that every preterm deserves the same start to life. So we don't have to deprive them. They deserve the same start to life. So that was a very powerful speech by our regional minister, read by Mr. Chum, who stands in his stead. Thank you so much. And then, so we continue with the meeting and then the lunch. I'm sure you all are happy when we see our preterms later in life and they are doing well. Yes, when you have seen them from when they were 0.5 or 0.4, and then they come back and they are 5 kilos and then they are all over the place. Some are crawling. That kind of joy, I'm sure every preterm worker, anyone who has worked in the preterm unit has experienced that kind of joy before. And then some facilities actually pride themselves that, oh, we have been able to manage to get a 25-weeker to survive. And now it's 2 years. Every year, the mother brings the baby here for us to celebrate with the baby. So that joy is what keeps us going. So in our midst, we have one such preterm who has gone through the battle of prematurity. In fact, that few months of life is more torturous and then a battle than many things people will face in life. For them to even go through that first 2 weeks, if you cross that 2 weeks, then there is more hope, especially if you are a male. If you are a male preterm born at 0.5 kg and you cross the first 2 weeks of life, you have won a battle many in life cannot win. Then to cross for the first month, anemia of prematurity. Every 3 seconds, you are receiving blood. Osteopenia of prematurity. You know all the terms. So by the time they are getting to 2 years, then that is a conqueror. Yes, so we have one such baby in our midst who is not a baby anymore. She is a strong advocate. I can see people pointing to themselves. Yes, we have preterms who have become doctors. Sometimes I wish I was a preterm and have become a doctor. Then I'll be making noise that me, I was a preterm. Now look at me. A nurse is perpetually a preterm. So yes, but I also get excited because my sister is a preterm and now she's in the law school. So when I see her, I get so excited that yes, everything is possible. In fact, she's a very strong advocate for prematurity. So we have one such lovely lady in our midst. We want to give her the opportunity to show us what taking care of this preterm can eventually bring the outcome. Yeah, so Vanessa Nyamechedua, who is an ex-preterm, will give us a lovely poetry recital. So let's give it up to her, Vanessa. You won't believe she was a preterm, but she was. See how lovely she looks. Lovely Vanessa. So please, the floor is for Vanessa now.
Good afternoon to you all. All we need is love. All we need is kindness. All we need is love to make our dreams come true. As once a preterm, I was born in Assam. I am 10 years. We are beyond the normal babies. Everything about us goes beyond normal. We are special in every aspect of the word special. And above all, we are strong. I am proud to be a preterm. Thank you.
But she's making me want to wish to be a preterm. Very late preterm, 36 plus 4. God bless you so much, okay? Please, let's give it up to Vanessa. She did so well. To even gather the courage to come and stand in front of us, it's not easy. So thank you so much, Vanessa. And then we are proud of you. We are very proud of you. All the way from Asamai. Yes. So, all right. So next on our list. So next on our list, we'll have a lecture by a very renowned neonatologist. I'm sure everybody in Ghana here knows her because when it comes to neonatology, she is a face. So she will give us a lecture on the burden of prematurity in Ghana, the hidden crisis. And to do that for us is Dr. Nana Rekubrobe, my very own boss.
Big fans and kwa. Good afternoon, everyone. So this afternoon, I've been asked to talk about a topic that is usually underrated, okay? The burden of prematurity, okay? We talk about what is the preterm infant, what are the complications, all that, but we never really talk about the impact of the implications of preterm birth, the impact on society, on the hospital, even on the health professional. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. So the burden of prematurity in Ghana, excuse me, the hidden crisis. So I would like to say that where you are born or how much money your family has should not determine whether you live or die. Okay, we'll come to appreciate it as we go on. So as usual, we'll do a few true or false. You now, you know that, right? Okay, so if preterm birth were supervillain, its secret lair would predominantly be located in sub-Saharan Africa and Southern Asia, as these two regions alone account for approximately 2/3 of the global preterm birth burden. True or false? Final answer. Hey. How many say true? And how many say false? Huh? Okay. Echo is jotting down the response. I think the true was more, right? Okay. A preterm infant born in a low-income country has an equal chance of surviving to their first birthday as a well-preserved ancient mummy, thus of winning an Olympic race, primarily because of a universal lack of appropriate mechanical ventilation. True or false? Final answer. Okay. Delayed cord clamping of more than 30 to 60 seconds is only beneficial for vigorous term infants and is not a strong recommendation for preterm infants. True or false? I need your one nodding. Hey. No, I think I have another one. Okay. In Ghana's neonatal mortality statistics, the true arch nemesis responsible for the largest share of deaths is severe malaria or diarrhea, meaning prematurity complications are only a secondary public health concern. True or false? The mental health burden on mothers of preterm infants in Ghanaian NICUs, often dealing with guilt and financial stress, is viewed as a soft issue and is actively excluded from clinical care protocols because of the need to prioritize physical survival. True or false? Okay. The majority of disability adjusted life years, DALYs, lost to prematurity in Ghana are driven by severe visible physical disabilities like cerebral palsy, rather than the more common hidden burden of moderate cognitive and learning defects. True or false? How many say true? How many say how many say false? How many say false? How many say Okay, all right. So this will be the outline of my presentation. We'll go through introduction, strategies, family's perspective, etc. So by way of introduction, prematurity is a significant public health concern. okay, accounting for an estimated 10% of births worldwide, with approximately 1 in 10 babies born prematurely. That was in 2019. This is a global picture, okay? Again, it is the leading cause of death in children under 5, with 15 million preterm births annually. Out of these 15 million, 11 million is being contributed to by what? Sub-Saharan Africa and then Southern Asia. So you see that we're doing a lot of work, right? And for every 5 preterm babies born all over the world, 4 of them will be born in our part of the world. Okay. So the issue is, the problem is not everywhere, but it is concentrated in our side of the world. Okay. And our side has the weakest health systems. Okay. You'd expect that the high income countries who have all the equipment and resources, whatever, they would have more. Okay. But it's the other way around. So looking at some trends, despite quite a bit of technological advances, recent estimates by WHO and UNICEF show no measurable progress in reducing preterm birth weight. The key to preventing prematurity and its complications is to prevent preterm birth. Unfortunately, that has not been possible, okay, as Dr. Labi will tell you, okay. So if you compare global preterm rates in 2010, it was 9.8%. As of 2020, 9.9%. So it's not coming down. The chances are that it would even start trending upwards. Then again, in Southern Asia, 13.3% in 2010, 13.2% in 2020. Sub-Saharan Africa, 10.1% over a 10-year period. Okay, so even the highest burden areas, see that the rates are still the same. Worldwide, I think just about 5 countries have the largest burdens. So you have Nigeria, Ethiopia, China, Pakistan, and India. They are doing the most when it comes to giving birth. So they have the absolute figures as well. So globally, studies on the survival of extreme premature infants have shown significant inconsistencies, with rates ranging from 7% to 92.6%. But generally, the consensus is that for a baby who is born at less than 28 weeks gestation, if you're born in a high-income country, your chances of survival 9 in 10. Whereas a baby who is born at less than 28 weeks in a low-income setting, your chances of survival 1 in 10. So no argument about it. Where you are born does make a difference. Okay. So these disparities between both between and within countries, usually influenced by differences in healthcare viability definitions. So if you take Ghana, Nigeria, our cutoff for viability is 28 weeks. South Africa is 26. But if you take a country like Sweden, they are looking at 23, 24 weeks. Okay, so that means that if a baby is born at, say, 26 weeks here today, okay, technically it's an abortus. But you see, the other issue too is that it depends on where in Ghana you are born. Do you understand? If you're born at, say, at a tertiary facility, baby is breathing, kicking, you'll probably be sent to the neonatal unit. Now, if you're born in a rural setting, there's no newborn unit or anything. The mere fact that the woman came in and then she says that her gestational age is 25. Already the midwife has relaxed about it because basically you're coming to do an abortion. Okay, so when the baby comes out and the baby is sort of moving a bit, she's already debating, should I bother myself and send the baby, or I didn't know, after all, even our data collection, less than 28 weeks, we do not enter. Okay, so that means that where you are born, even in country, makes a difference. Okay, It is by God's grace that we are all here. Hmm? All right. So herein begins the hidden crisis, our attitude towards life support. Do you get? If I meet midwife A when I come and deliver, chances of survival or chances of being resuscitated totally different from if I come and meet midwife B when I come and deliver. True or false? It's true, which shouldn't be the case. Okay, so that's why we should have what? Protocols. Okay, covers everything, regardless of who is on duty, because the protocol says if a 26-weeker comes, delivered, baby showing signs, what. Even when baby is not showing signs, you're supposed to what? Give the baby a chance, resuscitate for at least 10 minutes. Okay. So Ghana's situation. Ghana's preterm birth weight is well above the global average. Unfortunately, we don't have an average figure per se, but when you Google, it would say like 14.5%. Okay. There are ranges. So one study put it at 19.4 in northern Ghana. Okay. But the lowest that has been quoted is what? 11%. The global rate is 10%. So whichever way you look at it, we are way above the global rate. Okay. And it's going up. Okay. Because in 2006, it was 9.3. And then as of 2016, some regions had what? Between 16 to 18.3%. And then Northern Ghana has quoted between 18.5 and 19.4. So you'll agree with me that prematurity complications is one of the biggest hurdles to achieving SDG 3.2. Unless something is done about it, there's no way we'll be able to what? Meet SDG 3.2. So I decided to get some local data. CAF, so for admissions, this is for just preterm admissions, okay? CAF, it ranges between 40, 45, 50%, okay? Then KBTH, unfortunately, they couldn't verify for me. This is Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, 52%. And then Ho Teaching Hospital, forgive me, that's supposed to be 21%. And then Tamale Teaching Hospital is 22%. Okay, so you see that it ranges basically from what? 20 to about 50%. Okay, so it's gotten to a point where like almost 1 in 2 babies is a preterm infant. Okay, so just imagine with all the deliveries that what we are getting. So what are the risk factors? Hypertensive disorders of pregnancy. So you see that you have a baby who's born at 30 weeks via CS. You look at the indication, preeclampsia with severe features. So the baby was taken out for maternal reasons, not because the fetus was suffering in any way. Okay. Then infections. Okay. Infections, malaria, urinary tract infections, maternal age. Now we're getting younger and younger women coming in delivering. Okay. Today during rounds, we had this mother. She's, how old was she? I think she's like 20 or 19. And she was, she delivered, and then the baby had some kind of kidney issue, right? And she's supposed to go and do one investigation, MCUG, about 1,500 grams, right? I mean, no. 1,500 CDs. Okay. And then she says she doesn't have money. Okay. And then she's like, you know, she's a young girl, so she doesn't have money. She's not working. I said, you're a young girl, but you went to do adult play. Do you understand? So now you have to make what? Adult decisions. I think on MBU, the youngest we've seen was what? Was it 11 or 12 years? Okay. So we're getting younger mothers giving birth. And now because of assisted reproductive techniques, we're also getting what? Older women giving birth. And even naturally, without the assisted reproductive techniques, as you're getting older, you have an increased chance of giving birth to twins, to multiples. So twins, triplets, and all that. And once you're having multiple births, there's a high possibility that you deliver prematurely. Then you have your multiple pregnancies, and then undernutrition and micronutrient deficiencies. It's been found that in our parts of the world, we have quite a number. In fact, most of us you meet somebody who has like 3 kids, and then you're like, we mama and then she'll say, oh no, we need penny, we need torso, and sana this one. Okay, so you see that the pregnancy was what? And once the body doesn't recover fully, then that means that it's difficult for you to what? Carry to term. Then you have other risk factors, even the psychological status of the mother. Okay. Then you have genetic factors like what? Cervical incompetence, congenital anomalies. All these ones can what? Lead to preterm births. So now we come to the obvious crisis. Okay, health system gaps. First of all, in our part of the world, did you know that Ashanti region has the highest number of neonatal units in Ghana? I think we have about 42 or so. Currently, Ghana has about 222 or so newborn units. Okay, but it should be such that for every facility that does deliveries, there should be what? A newborn unit. Because you cannot guarantee that every baby that is delivered will come out healthy. Okay, because remember, the highest risk of dying for the newborn is in the first 24 hours of life. So if the baby comes out and has an issue, by the time you deal with your calling the referral facility, looking for an ambulance, is the driver there? Can they afford fuel? Then the parents to know, we won't go, you must go, we can't look after the baby here. All that time is going. Meanwhile, the baby is what? Struggling to breathe. Okay. Then lack of specialized equipment and inadequate supplies. Oxygen. A baby is referred to cath MBU, then they'll write on the referral form, our oxygen is finished. Very sad, isn't it? Okay. Or sometimes even the ambulance brings the baby. Do you get? Then you be at the working area, you see one EMT running into the unit, but more oxygen way, then he carries the mobile oxygen back because what? Their oxygen got finished en route here. Okay, then CPAP machines, incubators, stockouts of essential emergency drugs, caffeine citrate. Okay, I think because we are in the teaching hospital, we don't appreciate the fact that there are certain other units in the country that do not have access to caffeine. Okay, but it is an essential drug for all preterm infants. That's why we say that what? Preterm infants are the only group of what? Children who are legally allowed to what? Take coffee. Okay, because it helps with their what? Their breathing. Because they are there, no, then they just stop breathing. After all, they have nothing to lose. It's not as if they've gotten some apartments be or something, building, be properties in their name. The least thing, they just stop breathing. If you like, stimulate them to breathe. If not, leave them. They will just die. Okay. So there are certain things we shouldn't what? Take for granted. Magnesium sulfate for what? For the mothers who have gone or likely to go into preterm labor. It helps with what? Neuroprotection. Okay. But day in, day out, you come, then they'll say, oh, we've run out. Oh, let me call here and see whether what we can get some. Time is of the essence. Shortage of skilled staff. Okay. If there's staff there and they haven't been trained, a baby comes out, baby is not breathing. The staff will what? Helplessly watch on whilst the baby dies, because the staff hasn't been trained to what? Resuscitate the baby. And for them, what? Within minutes, within seconds, they're going. Inconsistent guidelines, implementation. So even the steroids that is supposed to be given to mothers who are going into preterm labor or likely to deliver prematurely, I'm told that Ghana Health Service facilities, not all of them what? Administer it. Okay, so if it's not in their protocol, they will not administer it. And there's nobody policing these things. Weak referral systems and poor transport infrastructure. I won't even start on that one. Okay, referrals is a big issue here. Then NHIS gaps. Okay, even though we say that it's free for the mother and that it covers the baby. Okay, I mean, if you go to MBU now, you can get at least 2 mothers who have been discharged, whose babies have been discharged, and they can't go home because they cannot what? Pay the bill. And then sometimes they just come and ask you, Dr. Nana, when you're down for holding a birthday, maybe an uncle per se, obecha your bills, my. Do you get? This is where we have gotten to. Okay, very sad, isn't it? Then community involvement and public education. Sometimes you have a mother who's delivered prematurely, you've looked after the baby for, let's say 2 months, baby has gained weight small, you are happy because the baby came, baby was like 900 grams. Now baby is 1.3 grams. She should go home, then the mother tells me that, Nana, I say, me, but mamen dahana ni munye dukakra. Aso sa, mi kofia nanko for beshanesan. Do you get? Public education. Some people, general public, some people don't even know that you can have babies who weigh less than 1,000 grams. Or babies who are delivered and they are ill. So when you tell them about MBU and neonatal units, they are like, it's babies how? Do you get? Because as far as they know, everybody delivers and then they go home. Wow, afane home, afane ba. And now ye CS. So one fane ba na ne ba be fa MBU ne they don't know about it. Okay, then investment. Okay, so we need to be what? Educated enough to know that there's the need for investment. Otherwise, this is where we end up. Okay, so you see that you have what? 4 babies in one incubator. You see all these babies lying here. These are all preterm infants. This is the old MB. You see how the mothers are lined up like this. Meanwhile, there's some mothers still inside. Okay, so you have these babies here. Now, if you come and deliver and this is your baby, will you be happy? No. I mean, fresh baby who has come into the world. Now, I say it not to compound house. It doesn't bode well for the future, does it? Your child grows up, you're showing her baby pictures, and then you show her, so this is you. This is you. Okay. So all these things, what? Part of the crisis. Okay. Which brings me to what? Disability adjusted life here. So when we talk about the crisis, it's not only the mortality, but what about those who do not die? Okay, the emphasis is not only on what? Keeping them alive, but we want them to what? Survive and thrive. Okay. If you let the baby survive, no, be born kwata 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 kwata. Seriously. You get? Because how you treat the baby affects what? Even the IQ, the brain activity. Okay. So we're not looking at only the mortality. Once they die, they are gone. But you want to save them. And when you save them, you want to be sure that when they are growing, they will be what? Thriving and doing well. They should be comparable to other kids. And it starts from the beginning. Most of the time, we are only looking at the acute phase. But after we've discharged them, what happens? Because if a child grows up and ends up in a society with some kind of disability, and remember that when we talk about disability, it's not only physical. Do you get? I mean, when it's cerebral palsy, you can see it. There's delayed development. Okay. But what about those who lose IQ points? Those who cannot critically think? Those who have what? Eye issues. So the child is not even what? 1 year old. And you see that the child is in this thick lensed what? Glasses. Those who can barely hear. So that is what brings us to what? Disability adjusted life here. One DALY represents 1 lost year of healthy life. So the total DALYs for a population represents the gap between its current health and an ideal state of perfect health for everyone. So if you have a situation where you have many preterm infants, you didn't look after them well, they end up with what? Complications, and not just the obvious complications. Okay. Now, the difference is comparing it to when you have majority of the population having good health. So the productivity, that is your DALY. If you're getting more and more of your population having disabilities, okay, it eventually would have an impact on what? The productivity. Okay, the job market, there are certain things that they will not be able to do. But imagine if half of your preterm infants, at least half of them, you're looking after them very, very well. Definitely, it would boost productivity for the country, will it not? Okay. And for all you know, it would also help reduce corruption. That one day, I haven't seen it anywhere, but I'm just saying that it's possible. Do you understand? Okay. So we mean the survivors of the prematurity. Come again. I'm saying that if you have a baby who suffers a lot from hypoxia, okay, who knows? Maybe it might increase the chance that the baby will grow up and be more prone to corruption and bribery. That is why I said I haven't seen any such article. Yes, that's why I said I haven't seen any such article, but I'm just saying the same way that prematurity has been linked to criminal tendencies. Do you understand? So you see that, I mean, corruption and whatever falls under criminal tendency, that one has been proven. Okay. Okay, so DALY is a measure of disease burden that combines the impact of both premature death and disability. So over the years, as we're getting more and more babies, younger babies surviving, okay, if we do not take care and modify both our attitude, skills, and knowledge to caring for them in the acute phase, then we're likely to see more of them what? Developing long-term what? Issues, okay? And that in the end will affect all of us. Okay, what comes to mind is, usually sometimes when you're driving, you're on the road and then some trotro driver B comes from nowhere and crosses you. And then you're thinking, this doesn't make sense. Do you get? And then Professor will say, when you know is birth asphyxia. But you see, prematurity is coming to what? Add to it. Okay, sometimes you think you are in your lane. Me, I'm driving well, you know, I'm being a law-abiding citizen. But somebody from somewhere can what? Just come and cross you. Okay, so it affects all of us. We are all involved. Okay, so the hidden crisis beyond mortality is not just deaths, but also severe morbidity. So chronic lung disease, this baby will be on oxygen for a long time, and then it affects the lungs. Eventually, you take the baby off, they're able to go home. But then the least thing, even when the baby has a cold, somehow it renders the baby so critically ill, the baby is brought to PEU. Okay, so just because a baby is an ex-preterm, they can come to PEU, what, like 3 times in a month, because the lungs are not what? Ready. Okay, or sometimes because the baby is premature, we do not monitor. Oh, wait, you sir, into the manenda oxygen, no, it doesn't work that way. You need to monitor what? How much oxygen you're giving. You see, the problem is that we do not see the effects of our practices now. Do you understand? We're happy when the saturation is 100%, but that shouldn't be the case. Okay, oxygen is like what? A drug. So you can what? Overdose it. And that is what ends up in these complications. So you have your cerebral palsy, retinopathy of prematurity, poor growth, developmental delays, and then of course there's a socioeconomic burden, healthcare costs, family stress, lost productivity. So I put this here. What the song so Stevie Wonder, I think will be 75 years this year also. Was born in 1950 also, or 19, yes. He was born at 34 weeks. Okay, Stevie Wonder wasn't born blind, but because he was exposed to what? Oxygen, he ended up what? Blind. But even then, you see that he came up with what? Nice songs for us. Okay, happy birthday to you, happy. And then there was another one, cry. Eugene, which one was that? I forgot. Yeah. You see, that is Stevie Wonder for you. But isn't it sad that you have a baby who's born, the eyes are good, and then because we give too much oxygen, the baby goes home what? Blind. Okay, that is the what? Hidden crisis. I think he came to Ghana some years back, not too long ago, and then they made him what? A Ghanaian or something like that, honorary Ghanaian or something. Okay. And he was part of the We Are the World song too. Okay. When he's playing the piano, then he'll be doing this. Okay. One of my favorite guys, actually. So then the next one is RP. So Kath, we started the RP screening in August 13th. Okay. And so far, as at 28th October, we had screened what? 916 babies. Okay. Number of babies treated, 33. Bear in mind that some will be diagnosed with ROP, but over time it will spontaneously resolve depending on the stage. Okay. But 33 had to be immediately what? Treated. Okay. Then 2 actually had to be sent to what? Kolebo. Okay. 1, unfortunately, totally gone. Okay. That was a referral. Now we have about 13 hospitals referring for the screening. TTH started their screening on the 23rd of June this year. And so far they screened 158. Number of babies treated is 5. And they have about what? 2 hospitals referring to them now. So it's still in the baby stages. So ROP is with us. Okay. I think because we moved to the new block, we're using a lot of what? Oxygen. Okay, because when we had the old block, even though we had ROP, the few times that they were screened, it wasn't as bad as it is now. Then this graph shows, so for the CAF ROP, the screening criteria would be those who are less than 33 weeks gestation, and then birth weight less than 2,000 grams. Okay. Now this is the weights that have been plotted. The blue represents the baby from CAF, and then the red represents the babies from the States. Now, bear in mind that in the States, their screening criteria, those who are less than 30 weeks gestation, and then those who are less than 1.5 kilograms. Okay. But you see that on this y-axis, this is the weight. Okay. And this is a gestational age. So you see that the blue dots, which represents our babies, much lower centile. You see? Okay, so it's lower than the 50th centile. So you see that the bulk of our babies are not what? Growing well compared to those in the States. Granted, those in the States, they have the fortifiers and the formulas and whatnot, but this is the Fenton growth chart. Okay, so then that means that just looking at the centiles here, you realize that our babies are what? Falling short. Okay, the growth pattern is not encouraging. Now, new research shows that being born even a few weeks preterm can increase the risk of learning and behavioral spectrum disorders. Okay, so regardless of whether you were born at 36 weeks, 35 weeks, or 34, the mere fact that you weren't born at term, there's some hidden risk of you developing these spectrum disorders. Now, since most preterm births, about 85% occur between 32 and 37 weeks, you have a significant proportion of preterm babies being at risk, contrary to the previous assumptions that only extremely preterm infants are at risk. So the mere fact that you were born a couple of weeks before term puts you at risk. So now we're aiming for what? Disability-free survival. Okay, it's a sensitive marker of the quality of care provided to preterm babies. And again, when we say disability-free, we're not talking about only the obvious disabilities. It's a range. Okay, you can have somebody who has mild strabismus or squint or whatever, all the way to somebody who has what? Quadriplegic, what? Cerebral palsy. But it doesn't change the fact that the risk of having long-term negative outcome increases as gestational age at birth decreases. Definitely, if the baby is born at 25 weeks, your chances of having some kind of neurological impairment or complication is much higher compared to one who is born at 33 weeks. Okay. Now, studies have revealed that more than 50% of adults born preterm do not develop comorbidity. However, the percentage falls to 23% if we look at adults who were born at less than what? 28 weeks gestation. Okay, so it's been proven that the low gestational age at birth is associated with an increased risk of developing chronic NCDs. Okay, so your hypertensions and whatnot. Okay, as leading causes of death in childhood. Preterm birth has also been associated with an increased risk of mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, ADHD. Okay. Then one interesting thing I found out is that about 60% of the baby's nephrons in the kidney is formed in the 3rd trimester. Then by the time the baby gets to 36 weeks in utero, the nephrons have formed. Okay, so once a baby is born, it doesn't continue. Whatever nephrons you come with, that is what you live with. Okay, so if a baby is born at say 30 weeks, because 60% of the nephrons form in the 3rd trimester, that means that they are likely to have what? About 50% at the most. Okay, so quantity, quality would what? be compromised once you're born early. So it prones them towards hypertensive disorders because the kidney doesn't have enough nephrons to be getting rid of the sodium, doing electrolytes, balances, and all that. Okay, so more and more preterm infants are being found to be linked to chronic kidney diseases and hypertension. Same goes for the heart cells as well. They call them cardiocytes or cardiomyocytes or something like that. Okay. So now we come to evidence-based interventions, the action gap. What is the solution? The solution is basically in this room. Those who are listening, those who are working with babies, that is the solution. Okay. But we should remember that it is always a continuum of care. So from conception, right through birth, and then follow up. Okay. So that means that not only the pedics people can solve the problem or deal with it. Okay. We need to drag along our brothers and sisters from Dr. Labi's place. Okay, so the obstetricians. It's multidisciplinary when it comes to prevention, management, long-term follow-up. So obstetricians and midwives are on the front line of prevention and stabilization. That's why when a mother comes in preterm labor, sometimes they assess. Maybe they can stop it. They'll give some kind of tocolytic. They give nifedipine because it's a calcium blocker. All in a bid to stop the labor, prevent preterm labor. But if they are unable to stop it, then they say, okay, then we need to think about the baby's lungs. So steroids will come in. Okay, so antenatal steroids, cornerstone intervention is being proven. Okay, give it to mothers who are at high risk of going into preterm labor, or maybe she has preeclampsia with severe features. They need to go in and take the baby out. Then you have magnesium sulfate, essential for neuroprotection. So it's like a cerebral palsy prevention strategy. Okay, so ensure that the mag sulfate is given as close to when the mother is delivering as possible. Okay, so then that means that it needs to be readily available. The question is, are all our facilities giving it? Is it in our guidelines for all preterm beds? That is also another question to answer. Then you have delayed cord clamping. So how many of us are practicing it? Okay, sometimes in the theater, baby comes out, baby is crying, and then you tell the surgeons that, oh, please wait. When it's at least 30 seconds, then you clamp the cord. Okay, and then the surgeon is standing there holding the scissors, and it's like, why you say no, it's like they're just indulging you. Okay, sometimes they know it's not up to 30 seconds, and they're like, can we cut? Can we cut? Can we cut? And then sometimes out of frustration, you say, you know what, just cut and give me the baby. You understand? But I'm always fighting with the obstetricians because they always seem to be very just mother focused. Dr. Labi, forgive me if I speak against your people, but it's true. It's like, it's all about the mother. And I don't get it. Do you get? The mother came to you because she wants a baby. Do you understand? But for you, it's like, when the baby comes out, no, then you forget about the baby. It's the mother. Everything, mother, 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 mother. Okay, but that shouldn't be the case. They come as a package. Do you get? If the baby doesn't fare well, it would affect the mother, wouldn't it? And sometimes it can be so bad that then the mother's BP starts going up again. And then you're the same people who will suffer. Okay, so delayed cord clamping has been proven. It helps with neonatal blood volume. It reduces the risk of the baby bleeding up there. Then thermal protection. Okay, it's one of the key do's in looking after the preterm baby, keeping the baby warm. keeping the baby warm. It makes a huge difference. Okay, if the baby comes out and the first admission temperature is cold, already automatically the baby's chances of dying has increased. Okay, you need to what? Keep the baby warm. Now, it's been advocated that for babies who are less than 32 weeks, as soon as the baby comes, you don't even dry the baby. You place the baby in the what? A polyethylene what? Bag. Okay, so that what? You conserve the humidity. The baby doesn't lose the heat via evaporation. Then infection prevention. Okay, sepsis is one of the killers in our setting here. Okay, they barely have any immunity built up. Then, of course, when there's the need for resuscitation, you focus on helping babies breathe principles. Hey, Yako, my house people have hijacked the thing. Oh. Add it to my time, oh, eh? So these are recommendations from WHO on the care of the low birth weight and preterm infants. This was launched in November 2022. But basically, they've updated it. So KMC, now they're saying that what? It should be immediate KMC. Okay. Remember the conventional KMC, WHO came out and said that everybody should do conventional KMC when the baby comes out. Once the baby is stable, which can take anywhere from 3 to 5 days or even up to 3 weeks, then you place in skin to skin. That can reduce mortality by 40%. So then they came out and said, the baby's chances of dying is highest in the first 24 hours. But with the KMC, even for those that we are starting after day 3, it's able to reduce mortality. Why don't we try it on the first day of life when the baby has the highest risk of dying? So that is what brought about the concept of what? Immediate KMC. Okay, so the earlier you put the baby there, the better. Then, of course, mother's own milk. I don't know what's happening, but lately there's this trend of, mothers always wanting to start formula. Do you get? So sometimes I ask her, where did you or say, me apprentice, me pamadier. And I'm like, auntie, you know how much one tin costs, right? And you know that as the baby is growing, the baby will be eating more and more. Can you buy one tin every 2 days? Or say, hey, madam, any can for anyone same biome. Do you get? They haven't thought about it. They haven't thought about the long-term effect. Early initiation of enteral feeding. There's a notion that once a baby comes, you can't start breast milk like in the first 24 hours, which is very wrong. Once the breast milk is coming, you can start. It starts in small amounts, see how the baby tolerates it, and then you increase it steadily. Duration of exclusive breastfeeding to 6 months, iron supplementation, and CPAP. So now CPAP is like a must. It's one of the mandatory things. CPAP is the workhorse, basically, for respiratory distress syndrome. It does all the work for the baby. Okay, so the baby doesn't have to deal with the increased work of breathing. Then data is the crux of the hidden crisis. You cannot manage what you do not measure. Do you understand? So basically, accurate data helps you to track your progress, and then it informs your action. Okay, if last year our preterm admissions was, say, 50%, and we had only 2 CPAP machines, the year before it was like 40%. What are the chances that this year it would be 20%? Very slim, right? When you have accurate data, it helps you to plan ahead. Okay, you look back at the history, look at the trend, the way things are going, it looks like maybe we're going to need more CPAPs, maybe we're going to need more incubators, we need to do more training on KMC. All these things, they make a difference. So strategies for the healthcare team. Basically, good collaboration. Okay. The pediatrician looking after newborns cannot exist without the obstetrician. and the obstetrician needs the pediatrician. Okay, in as much as you guys get your money from the pelvis, once you take the baby out, you need us to look after the baby. Okay, so it has to be, the team has to be seamless. Okay, Dr. Labi should be able to call me and say that, Nana, I have this mother, 29 weeks. Okay, her BP is very high. I've given Dexa, I've given this. I'm looking at doing the CS at 6 p.m. Okay, then I'll ask, oh, okay, when was the Dexa given? Because I'm hoping that the mother should have received it at least 24 hours before the delivery. Okay, you communicate. Okay, it makes a huge difference. But if the baby is just born and then suddenly the preterm baby comes out and is not breathing, then you're now sending somebody to come and look for someone on MBU. Okay, you get to MBU, I'm teaching the students, they are resuscitating somebody, running around and all that. By the time somebody gets to the baby is already what? Gone. And for all you know, this is her 5th pregnancy. Okay, she's possibly lost the previous one. So the moment of birth is supposed to be a single team event. They call it the preemie huddle. Okay, we make a decision. Okay, when the baby comes, you do this, I'll do this, I'll do this. But because it's like a 26, 27 weeker, we need to get what? The father involved, because the mother will still be on the table. This is what you do. This is how far we will go. Okay, you make a decision. Then training and simulation, particularly in what? Helping babies breathe, max sulfate administration, DEXA, etc. Then standardizing protocols. Okay, protocols is like a promise of good quality. This is what is supposed to be done. So you do it this way. It shouldn't be dependent on the mood of the person there. Okay, this is what we are all doing. It's evidence-based. This is what has been found to work, and we're all sticking to it. And then I put this picture here because what? Most of us are culprits. You're in a hurry. So you have what? A preterm infant, you quickly remove everything, and then you weigh the baby. Is this how it's supposed to be done? Okay, so, so advocacy, clinical governance, reliable supply chains of essential medicines, improved staffing and training, NHIS to truly cover, because honestly, even if you will not cover all newborns, okay, preterm births, you have a mother who delivers at, say, 27 weeks. She can be on the ward for 3 to 4 months. Do you understand? Before she can go home. Now, if she can't afford her bill, truly, is it surprising? Because she stays there for a long time. Okay. Then better psychosocial support. Imagine giving birth and you're staying in the hospital for about 3 months. And even that 3 months, you're not sure every single day, you're not sure whether your baby will survive. Okay, it's something that we tend to overlook. It's like our focus is always on the baby, but the mother's psychological status is also very important, because that one too can even affect the breast milk. Because sometimes you're on the ward and then you are talking to the mother and it's like she doesn't want to mind you. Do you get? Because she's depressed, which is understandable. But we hardly address that issue. Okay. Sometimes you're thinking to our own female giant, we all have our own problems. But honestly, in the scheme of things, do you understand? In the scheme of things, try and put yourself in this mother's shoes. Okay. Then we need to definitely advocate. Our clinical voice is powerful. Then parent support groups. I met this man who he's Kenyan. Okay, he had a preterm infant at, was it, I think 28 weeks or something, and he's formed a parent support group. So he's resigned from work, done an NGO, and now he's traveling around. He's got other men, and he only gets men in his group. Says he doesn't want women. Okay, so fathers of preterm infants who wants to join, They go around, appeal for funds, they educate other fathers, okay, just so they understand the concept, how to be there for their babies. And I thought it was very admirable. So the long-term follow-up is also very important. Like I said, you do not look after them only in the acute phase, but also beyond that as well. Survival is not enough. They need to thrive. Okay, so but whatever you do in the acute phase is what affects the long term. You understand? If you're very aggressive in your resuscitation, the baby might start breathing all right. But for all you know, the baby has what? A bleed up there. Eventually, it could manifest as what? Hydrocephalus, cerebral palsy, whatever. It ends up what? Affecting the long-term outcome of the baby. And we cannot do it alone. Okay, it's multidisciplinary. Everybody has to be what? Involved. So this one I'll just skip. There was something that I just wanted to talk a bit about the strain. So financial and economic burden. Okay. Free maternal care does not cover all NICU consumables. Okay. Qualitative studies in Ghana show overwhelming financial and psychological toll, high out-of-pocket cost, prolonged separation, emotional toll, lack of adequate psychosocial. So Bolga Regional did a study, and they came out, they determined that for a 10-day stay in the neonatal unit, the cost is 610 cedis. Okay. For a 10-day stay in 2019. Okay. That was what? Six years ago. Okay. But generally, if you Google what cost of NICU stay or preterm stay or something globally, it would give you between 5,000 and 161,000 US dollars. Just the admission. Okay, so it's very expensive. Okay, and it's not only from the parents, but it's a toll on the society as well. Because invariably our tax, whatever, I was going to say tax dollars, and I remember our tax cedis go into that as well. Okay, so a preterm birth can push a family into what? Catastrophic poverty. Okay, the crisis is social, it's not just medical. Then you have a psychosocial burden. Okay, stress, hopelessness, depression. I think Kolibu also did a study. They said that when mothers of preterm infants in Ghana often experience intense stress due to uncertain medical outcomes, prolonged hospitalizations, and inadequate healthcare infrastructure. Like MBU here, the mother's room. Okay, you have this small room and you can have more than what? 80 mothers sleeping in there. And there's only what? 2 WCs, one of which is not working, I think. So imagine the heat, the overcrowding, the discomfort, coupled with uncertainty about your baby's outcome. Very depressing. Every 2 hours, you're coming down to feed. Do you understand? Even in the middle of the night, when I have to wake up to wee-wee, then I'm annoyed. Imagine waking up every 2 hours. You get a headache. Okay, so there's a lot that what they go through. Okay, they said what? Having access to adequate income, information, medication, and experienced medical practitioners remains critical to the management of what? Stressful situations associated with the care of preterm children. Echo, maybe this is here. Why? So these are quotes I got from 2 of my mothers. Okay. Gifty had twins at 27 weeks, and then the first one died. Okay. So after the second one had been discharged and everything, then I asked her that, how did you feel when you were on admission? She said, when Penyin died, I lost all hope, especially since he was bigger than the sister. Okay. Penyin was 1.1, and then Kakra was 900, and Penyin was the one that died. My heart was always beating very fast whenever I was approaching the ward. So she says whenever she is about to enter, you see the door to pee Niku and Niku, then she'll stretch her neck. Do you get? You know, when a baby is not breathing well, sometimes you have somebody standing there bagging, then you have about 3 people. Do you get? This one is picking this one for this one. So when she stretches her neck and she doesn't see anybody standing by her baby's incubator, then she will breathe in. Do you get? So that is what she associated with a bad outcome, to get there and see people standing by your baby's incubator. Okay. So then she will breathe a sigh of relief. Then she said, I don't think I ever relaxed throughout the entire period of admission. It wasn't easy, but looking back now, it was totally worth it. Child is doing well now. Everything is fine. Then Auntie Sewa, she gave birth to a 28-weeker. Baby was 950 grams. But she had had 4 or 5 spontaneous abortions. Okay. And this one she managed to carry to, I think it was 27 plus 6 or something. Okay. Dr. Nana, I just know that if this baby dies, this was when she was still on admission, my husband will leave me. I just alternate between feeling numb, anxious, and afraid. 5 miscarriages is no joke. And this one too is so small. I'm always afraid to pick him up. Are you sure this my baby will survive and grow well? What answer do I give her? God is in control. Okay. All right. Let me just skip. So now the action. Okay. The time is now. Okay. We're very relaxed and laid back about, like, you know, it's normal. She's giving birth to a preterm baby and all that. But we need to start looking beyond preventing the baby from dying. Okay. So antenatal steroids, max sulfate for mothers at risk of preterm birth, delayed cord clamping, the do's and don'ts of resuscitating the preemie infant, gentle resuscitation. Okay. Providing warmth. Okay. Basic neonatal care, then kangaroo mother care. CPAP, like I said, CPAP is the workhorse for respiratory distress syndrome. Advocating for both mother and infant. Now the neonatal world is going every woman, every newborn, everywhere. Okay, the newborn and the mother always go together. Then improve referral pathways. Okay, you call ahead. You don't just send the baby. Okay, but sometimes MBU is full. I was saying that the impact of preterm births extend beyond neonatal mortality. Despite the implementation of free maternity care policies in Ghana, systemic inequities persist. The global burden of prematurity is overwhelming, but you have about 3/4 of death being prevented with cost-effective clinical and public health interventions. So all of us in this room, we are the ones who are the most critical technology needed to scale these solutions. So we need to what? Focus on the fundamentals, the very basic ones, master the basics, implement KMC, CPAP rigorously, and then follow them up, okay? Your daily vigilance turns this hidden crisis into life saved. So this one just gives us an idea of what needs to be done, that if we intend to meet the SDGs by 2030, if we want to prevent stillbirths, acceleration required to meet target now, we need to what? Triple whatever it is we are doing now. If we want to what? Reduce maternal mortality, 9 times what we are doing. Does it look like we can achieve that? For neonatal survival, 4 times, child survival, 4 times. So it's like we have our work, cut off for us. Thank you very much.
Please, another round of applause. For my boss. Thank you so much. I don't think there is any more to add. Everything you need to know about prematurity, the case burden as it is in Ghana has been done perfectly. And then now we can all appreciate the burden and then what we have to do. I'm very glad our Honorable Mr. Chum is here to listen to all the situation and then know the exact burden we carry. And I'm sure he will carry every message to the regional minister, who is also a doctor and then knows the situation very well. So hopefully we should see a lot of changes going forward, especially in our various districts, because as for us in Cath, the referrals will come. But if we can empower those referring, then that will make things even easier. So please, another round of applause for my boss, Dr. Nana. All right, so I know time is fast spent, but there is a very important aspect that has to be done. Please change your faces. So don't give me that look. So a very important aspect. I mean, everything we've done is, some of them are theories, some of them are reported experiences. Dr. Nana gave us clear examples. I don't think they said it in the Brofu she wrote. I'm sure they said it in Chi, but being Dr. Nana, Brofu no be mana. Now we want to hear it from the mother's own mouth. This one, Anya reported, it's not third person singular. So there are mothers in our midst who have gone through, who have experienced at various levels how it is to have a baby, one to carry a baby with prematurity, the stay in the preterm unit, what they go through, the effect it has on them. When yes, will be saying, the mothers are here themselves. And then we're able to get different categories of mothers with different category of preterms. And then, yes, 2 mothers and then 1 father. Please, let's clap for the father. To have a father here is even special. We have one who had a singleton, another mother who had twins, and then one who had triplets. So at every form, now you will say, wow. But when she comes, you will see whether it was really wow for her. Okay. So this won't take too much time. We just want to hear their experiences and then we'll give them. Okay. All right, so we'll invite them, Madam Grace Osei, Andrea Parker, and then Mr. Paul Esiedu. Please, these seats are yours. Luckily, some of them are health workers. I won't tell you who, but if you know, you will know. Dr. Nana, this is a special gift to you from. Yes. All right, so thank you so much, Mr. Chum. So we would have all right, so and please let's settle down at the back, those in-house, and then those online, I hope you can hear me. And then just a short announcement before, please, even if you are in-house, please register with the link that was shared on the various platforms, because we need to capture your details for the CPD points later. So please do well to register, even if you are here in person. Don't rely just on the names you've written here. Thank you. So I'll just go straight to the point. We want to hear from the mothers, uninterrupted. So I'm not going to do question and answer time. No. I'll leave it for them, and then we'll give them about 5 minutes to tell us their experience. how was it throughout the period? Some of them may be very emotional. If you want tissue, just let me know. We can pass tissue around so that if you have to wipe your tears, you can do so. Okay, so I'll begin. I don't know which of you would want to begin. Madam Grace, would you want to begin? Okay, the ladies are saying for the first time, a gentleman first. Say, Inca ladies first. But we need the gentleman first. So, Mr. Paul, we'll let you begin for us. Thank you.
All right. So, I think, should I stand? Yeah. Okay. So, thank you very much for the opportunity to share my experience or our experience. I think my wife should have been here, but it's unfortunate I have to be here instead. I think without wasting much time, I'll just say that. So our journey as preterm parents, our babies were born preterm at 31 weeks and 5 days of gestation. Because of that, thanks to our pediatricians, in fact, they were there on time to receive the babies and to resuscitate them. We had 3 pediatricians, and I thank them I'm very grateful for that. So we were quickly transported the babies were quickly transported to NICU to be stabilized. Because she had a cesarean section, it took her about 2 days before she could go and see them because she was still in pain. And the first moment of seeing the babies, according to my wife, these were tiny and fragile babies surrounded by big machines. And to her, though she's a medical practitioner, though she's a doctor, and it's not new to her. To her, it was beautiful at the same time, overwhelming. But anyway, we had to take the challenge. One of the first challenges we faced was with their breathing. And the doctors explained that their lungs weren't mature enough, so they needed a medication called surfactant. Now, I think on the first day, our babies were on oxygen. Second day of life, they were now on CPAP. And their breathing, it was worsening. Thanks to, again, the pediatricians, to the team of doctors. They quickly, spoke to us about the need for surfactant, and that having multiple gestation, there's a high risk of respiratory distress syndrome, which we're already experiencing. And so this drug was administered, and I think it really worked magic for them. They did well after that, and so we were happy seeing our babies gradually recovering. Now, the next challenge was the milk production. So my wife had to commute between the ward and then NICU all the time. And you all know of this strict feeding schedule. Every 2 hours, we had to come there to breastfeed. It was very exhausting. Initially, we tried all methods from diet to hand expression, having to massage the breast, using nipple devices and all that. But God being so good, eventually we started getting some breast milk, and then we started giving to the kids, adding to their feeds. So eventually they got a space for us because it wasn't easy at all. The burden of triplets, having to, sometimes you finished one cycle. You finished breastfeeding, it's already 2 hours. You've entered into another, and so you had to just, be there, and you'll be there throughout the whole day. At night too, you'll be there also as well. In fact, at a point in time, I wasn't working again. I had to be there to help support my wife throughout. And that was a heavy task. But I believe it was worth it. Now, when she was finally able to walk and all that, I think the next challenge was, as I said, the space. But I want to use this opportunity to thank again our pediatricians and also our nurse specialists for helping us with that. We are very grateful. There were times that, in fact, things were a bit, should I say, moment of uncertainty. Yeah, taking the word. Because there were times that it's like you really don't know what will happen in your absence. And because whilst you were there, you see mothers losing their babies, and it was heartbreaking. And this wasn't a place where you try to create friendship and all that, because you are there. Fine, we have to be kind because you don't know what will happen to your own baby. So you are there, and it's like you hear, oh, this one didn't make it. So when you are on the ward, you are thinking, how is my baby faring? But God being so good, when we went through this whole thing, and the notion of sometimes you are there and then they will tell you that, oh, it's not easy to, you are having triplets. Some of them had twins, they lost one. So even if you lose one, cry, and that kind of, and Charlie, for us, it wasn't easy for us having to, but we were determined that we carry all of them alive. And we thank God that eventually, I believe with your support and with God on our side, we were able to carry the babies alive home. And we want to thank you all once again. I think I remember their weight, their barefoot around, I think 1.3 or so, but now some of them are doing 2.5 now. And I thank you very much.
Right, thank you. So manpower, you see, he had to stop work to come and take care of his babies. So we've heard from the triplets father. He said, where was triplets saying Ahinasa and Asani? Ahinasa Papa. So if you are in the village, you'll be a chief bone setter. You'll bring all the broken bones to you to set. Yes. So from triplets, you come to the twins, and then we'll end with a singleton so that we get all experiences. So our time is fast spent, so we'll try and then be quite snappy.
Thank you very much, boss. Whenever I think, like I sit down to think back at 2 years ago, it's a little emotional, but today we are strong because they are here. And so at least when you look back, you see that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So 3 years ago, 4 years ago in December, 25th December, 2021, 24th December night, I did a pregnancy test and it was positive. So you can imagine the joy, like, I'm going to break the news to my family members on Christmas Day, amazing Christmas parcel for my parents, my siblings, like everybody will be so happy. 25th December, I woke up early, I said, I'm doing a family breakfast to go and tell my parents that I'm pregnant. So Charlie, you can imagine the joy. Then I'd finished, I'm a fancy, so you can imagine what I did for the breakfast, bacon and sausages, baked beans and things like bread and things. So yeah, I prepared a banquet. Then I finished setting up the table and I felt like peeing. It was just like, I want to pee. I sat on the tea bowl and then I saw blood. I said, this blood maybe is wee-wee or implantation bleeding. See, at that point, like you lose all sensibility, okay? So long and short, I lost that pregnancy. It was a very early pregnancy loss. I told God that, you know what? Next year, Christmas, I'll do another banquet. And I will announce again on that same Christmas day that I'm pregnant. Fast forward, 24th December, 2022. I said, I'm putting God to the test. So I did another pregnancy test. And it was positive again. That day I said, this one I'm going to do prayer and go and do giddy giddy. And then this one too, we can do some stuff. So I said, you know what, maybe I won't tell them on 25th December. Let's go forward a little. So I think I did a scan in January. Then I found out that they were twins. And then I took all my confidence and went to my mommy and told her, Mommy, God has blessed us. So she said, what is it? What is it? I said, Mommy, there are things. She was like, hey, don't be too excited. It will spoil again. Stop. I said, hey, yes, madam. So at that time, I think I was an M1 at emergency. Mom said, go for an excuse duty. Hey, these are my precious grandchildren. I said, relax, madam. It's okay. I came to tell you the news. So basically, I don't know, some of you may have known me from emergency medicine. I'm always on the move. Like, I never sit down. And I think that's the same thing that's happened to my children. They can never sit down. Look at them at the back. They are always on the move, doing something. Hey. Anyway, so because I knew I was carrying twins, I had a list of all the complications that could be. So I'd actually listed all of them down, was putting in active measures to make sure none of them happened. So I knew that pregnancy-induced hypertension was possible, right? So I started aspirin at 16 weeks. I was on calcium religiously because I cannot have pregnancy-induced hypertension, then preeclampsia, I don't want that. So I was very diligent. Then gestational DM2 was a problem. I was like, okay, I'll start eating well. I'll be taking my sugars religiously. So I was on top of that. The only complication I didn't write down was preterm delivery. And I felt like, oh, I mean, twins will come early anyway. So, you know, my gynae and I were like, let's say we'll deliver at 36. I was like, yeah, 36 is fine. It's preterm, but they're twins. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? So I went on leave in June. I was supposed to come to work on Monday, the 3rd of July, as resuming from my leave. I was 30 weeks on the Sunday. Sunday after church. It was my first pregnancy, so I was like, I feel some like abdominal pain. I'm not really sure what exactly it is. Is that what cramps? It's like cramps. I wasn't sure it was contraction. I was like, oh no. So I came to the hospital, it was probably a UTI, you'll be okay. So they said, okay, I should start DEXA at 8 p.m. I said, okay. So I got a midwife to give me DEXA at home at 8 p.m. I just couldn't fall asleep on the Sunday. Then fast forward 3 a.m., like I was just feeling so uncomfortable. I came back here, I said, Charlie, there's something not right with me. Then the doctor did a V. Hey, doc, you are already 7 cm. I said, 7 cm, what? What's that? Like, can't you do a cerclage at this point? Doc was like, oh, doc, cerclage at 7 cm. They were asking me, have you taken the second dose of DEXA? I said, DEXA, I took it at 8 p.m. Oh, it's 3 a.m. Like, that's not how they take the DEXA. We're like, oh, we'll have to deliver the babies now. So in that instance, I just blacked out. Like, all my medical knowledge vanished. And at that moment, I was literally doing a 180 turn from being a healthcare provider to being a healthcare receiver. And it was a very frightening and stressful situation. I don't know how I went through it. All I want to put across today is that, like Dr. Nana mentioned, the mental health aspect of seeing a preterm mother or preterm family is a lot more than you can ever envisage, especially if you've not been so close to them before. When I was a house officer, I did NICU for 3 months. So, I mean, I'm a champion NICU house officer, but it's an entirely different experience, okay? So in everything that we do as health workers, please, 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 give them grace. Preterm mothers go through a lot. The physical stress. I ended up with postpartum preeclampsia. So I had finished delivering. Then the BP started shooting. Proteinuria, say kutu, say bam. Uric acid, say kutu, say. I said, the babies are out. You know, when you have preeclampsia and like you are so pregnant, the solution is to deliver. Now babies are out. I'm now come to have the preeclampsia. Like, what else do I want to do again? Then you would have done mark sulfates. That medicine is hot. Then you'll be walking up and down from special ward to MBU with your urine bag here. You see, they are moving around. Yay! It's the mark sulfates. So basically, please, the mental health hurdles they have to jump. Like boss said, when I'm coming at the nursing station, I'm literally just stretching my neck to be sure that I can see some chest movement, because if you can't see chest movement, you have to run. If there are people standing there, you have to run. So there was never a certainty with it. It was always about, is this the last day? And there's always news about boys really don't do too, or the girls are fighters. The girl was a fighter. The boy was on value right from the first day. And sometimes you come and then the girl has held the guy's value and he's holding like, I'm like, Adra, leave your brother alone. Why? Already he's not supposed to survive this 30-week thing. Now his value to you want to remove it. Please give them grace. They go through a lot mentally. They go through a lot emotionally. They go through a lot even physically. I remember when Paul was talking, he said that his wife was in so much pain, so she couldn't walk up. By 12 hours, my mommy said that, because my mommy was so afraid that they were so tiny, she wasn't the one going to go and then see them. My husband is HR here. He just said, so I didn't have a choice to sit. I had to move, okay? So physically, they are going through a lot as well. It gets very daunting sometimes, but when you put in the work, you look on and then do as you are told by the pediatricians, the nurses and everything. At the end of the tunnel, there's always some light. Are they coming? Every now and then, please, when you see a preterm mother, pat her on the back and tell her you are doing a good job. Sometimes that's the only voice they remember as they are going home. That's, Mommy, oh, born home, keep pushing. It will get better. Or just hold their hand when they can't lactate. Hold their hand and tell them that it will be well. If there are any remedies you know, just tell them. Or if you can't do any of that, under the quietness of your heart, just whisper a little prayer and say that God give you strength for all that you are going through. It does go a long way. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So we'll take the final from our last mother, but before that, I'm sure we've all noticed there's an important person in our midst who has come to quietly sit in the audience, but we will not allow him to sit there. So please, with a round of applause, let's invite Prof. Enchi as he joins the panel. Prof, Debbie, Prof. Please, you have to join. So, Prof, please lead Prof to the high table. Prof, you are welcome. So he's our head of department, KNUST, at Child Health. So please, he's a big man. In fact, our biggest man. So we'll take the last comment from, our time is fast spent, so we'll try and make this very snappy. From our last mother, and then we'll be rounding up very soon. Mami Grace.
Thank you, Doctor. Actually, I am a mother of 3 preterm babies. It is not easy, and it has not been easy. And I am here because of the last one, Vanessa. I had Vanessa at 26 weeks. At my hospital, where there was no incubator, Dr. Opong was the one who delivered me of her. And he was like, "Ogre, me refer unko konfanochi. Me say, Dr. Maninka miyem. And ye ma mini baby no na me refer baby no unko. Me say, Dr. Maninka miyem. And I was like, na me free hako breastfeeding no anasesing. And he was so confused. I quite remember it was during that critical doomsaw period, 2015. He wanted a scan, and the scan was done on Thursday at 12 p.m. He had to come from the house when the lights came to do the scan himself. And then he was like, "Okay, baby is alive and kicking. Baby is so strong. Her heart is strong. I'll deliver you of her." And I was like, "Are you sure? Is she safe?" I had pre-eclampsia. And he was like, "Nyame woho." So I was prepared on Friday, 4th May. Unfortunately for me, the theater was full. Like the place was busy. So I had to be taken back to the ward Then he came to me and said, okay, menya machine be ebe boying. I looked at him and was like, Doctor, nyame wo ho. Say nyame pese baby tnasia. Wode me kwa abrochiri kra obetena se. Me wunu wa afuo mu obetena se. Say nyame ka se baby ntena se a, me kwa wo White House kra baby bewu. And so on that very Saturday morning, as early as 6:30, he came from his house, took me to the theater, and removed baby Amma. Till today, that is how he calls her. Baby Amma weighed 0.6 kg. And she was placed on a radiant heater. I was given a room, a separate room in the ward, and it was a whole lot. Dr. Opon will come at night as late as 1 a.m. to check if the nurses were obeying his orders, because he puts baby Amma on 30 minutes monitoring. And it was quite unfortunate. Whenever he came, the nurses were fast asleep. And so he will come straight to the room, do his monitoring, go and sit at the nurses' station and wait for them to wake up. So they will wake up in the morning and he will be there. And then he will be like, "Mo ye monitoring no? Doctor, mani bo be 12 and ani kum and ye kodaye." And he was like, he will be like, then the baby is gone. The baby is roasted. And as early as 5:30, you hear feet running, nurses, about 5, 6 nurses rushing to the room to check if truly the baby was gone. With God on our side, I spent 1.5 weeks at the hospital. And he only discharged me when he saw me crying because I wanted to go home. So just as Dr. Nana was saying, we go through a lot of stress. The thought of being in the hospital whilst others were at home, obi banu a wono afani baby no de no call. Now da ho. We banu afani baby within 2-3 hours. Watch out 24 hours. No coffee. Now da ho. The person will come for the vaccination and would have so da ha. Monsieur Dr. Ponso mami coffee. And it was until I wept. And then time Dr. Champon, who was the head there, was like, Opomanim Kofi. Obi manage 2 preterms there. Obey me. And Dr. Pon be like, me shade. And I was like, oh, shedding. Doctor, say baby etimienya 1 week. I want to assure you. Say the nyanko pamenya 1 week, she will survive. And baby Amma is a survivor. She is a determined soul. Our babies might be so tiny, but they have that strong, that large souls in them. They are the most determined babies on earth, and they are the strongest. I am proud to be a mother of 3 preterms. I'm very proud. I boast about it because they are blessings from God. Everybody, anybody who has a preterm should be proud. And I hope most of us here will have that experience. It's Dr. Nana, look, it's different helping to manage a preterm. And it's a different thing altogether, having that experience. It is so sweet, so adorable. It's true. No, I saw my baby and I was like, wow. Baby Amma, you could, when you looked at her stomach, you could see her intestines. Her daddy saw her for the first time. He stood there and started crying. He was like, Ogre, ebeye ye. Would you say baby or better nasi? Ni yem no manina ne go no ana unhui. They said, don't worry, I didn't back biology class. Also, just was I'm saying, yeah, they never call. She will become a living testimony. And I thank God for her. Thank you.
I mean, these are wonderful testimonies. And then I'm sure as health workers, it inspires us to even want to do more. There are so many of these outside. So you may not appreciate the typical mothers who have no level of education and having to come experience all this, because they know that and some of them, they are even afraid to even hold their babies because of how tiny they are. So I'm sure that as health workers, this will inspire us a lot and then help us even to want to do more for these preterms. We don't wish that plenty people will have preterms. You know, the SI experience, we are doing everything possible to prevent preterm delivery, because even though some are surviving, we know the implications and complications they can face, and then not all of them are good ones. Yes, so we just want to create the awareness and then try and then prevent as many as we can. Okay, so what do we say to our parents here? Thank you so much. Let's give them a round of applause as they take their seats. And then, yes. Okay, so at this point, we'll have a short presentation. In fact, we are almost through with the program. You can see it's very, very late because it's a lunch, it's expected. But our guest of honor has other events to also attend to. So for that matter, I would want to give Mr. Chum Samuel Nkansa the opportunity. He is the Deputy Director, Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council, who is here instead of the Ashanti Regional Minister, who we know would have loved to be here, but so many events are happening at the same time. So we'll take his remarks so that after his remarks, he can take leave of us and then attend to other matters. Please, let's give him a round of applause as he takes the microphone.
Thank you very much. I don't have too much to say because from the speech I read and also from the insight that Dr. Nana gave, I believe that she touched on all the pointers that we need to know. What I would say is that we need to be more compassionate from the stories that we have heard from the mothers. As health professionals, we need not to only exhibit our professionalism in terms of caring for the babies, but we also need to be compassionate so that together we can bring these babies alive for them to grow and thrive. Thank you very much. And I thank you for the invitation to the Honorable Minister. I think I will let him know whatever that has transpired at this launch. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yodora. Let's give him a round of applause as he takes leave of us. Okay, so at this point,
MedPlus. So we do the medical laboratory, one of them. We do diagnostic imagery, electrograms, the specialist clinic I mentioned earlier. We do interventionary procedures and then other projects as well. And so the corporate health, medical mission outreaches, general healthcare, that is what we do at MedPlus. Our laboratory does everything we believe you will need with a laboratory. Any type of investigation being done, the very advanced kinds. We do all of these things at MedPlus. With our diagnostic imagery, we do almost everything, as I mentioned, also the ultrasonographies, the digital X-rays, CTs, endoscopies, any form of medical imagery diagnostics, MedPlus offers them also. Electrograms, the ECGs, pediatric echoes, and the likes, MedPlus Health Consult, Confanochi Runabout, we offer all of these at MedPlus also. Our specialist clinic, we wanted to introduce to you, is our newest baby. We try to seek specialists to see specialist areas for us. Our diagnostics run mainly on referrals. We realized a challenge with a gap in the healthcare system where some facilities don't have access to specialist healthcare, the pediatricians they might need, the obstetrics gynecologists they might need, and all. We've come up with a system where we bring in specialists the same way clinicians find MedPlus as the go-to place for diagnostics. We are trying to do the same thing for specialist healthcare also. And so we would like that if it's possible, a few more of you will join our list of specialists for our pediatric clinic as well. Why choose MedPlus? So number one, we are fairly new. Our machines are also very new. The patterns of errors you would experience with some facilities, you wouldn't get them with us. And we do well to provide these investigations in very timely intervals. We know how important these diagnostics are to you, and we want to deliver the results as fast as possible to make sure our babies are receiving the care they need from wherever they are. Again, we run a 24-hour service, and so a time shouldn't be a hindrance or a bother to the work that we do. We run a 24-hour service for almost all our investigations. Of course, for some of them, because they need specialists coming through, we have them booked. But almost all our investigations run the whole weekend. So anytime you need pediatric echoes, anytime you need CTs, anytime you need endoscopies, any form of investigation at all, MedPlus is available and ready to work for you. On top of that, we do provide mobile and remote health services. There are instances where we've been called to do bedside ultrasonographies, bedside x-rays, and the likes. MedPlus offers all of these. For investigations which will require samples being taken from facilities and brought to our place to have investigations done, MedPlus is also available to produce these services for you also. On top of that, as I mentioned earlier, we do screenings, we do vaccinations, and any other relevant health services that needs to be provided. Benefits of working with MedPlus. MedPlus, we want to be as the best we can be. And so we do offer discounts for patients who are in need of these critical investigations being done at timely intervals. We know no one wants to be sick, and it is not always they have the financial means to be able to attain the sort of healthcare they require. And so MedPlus is able to do as much as a 50% discount even for some investigations. And so if you are referring your patients to MedPlus, we don't want the pricing to be a challenge to why they can't receive the healthcare from us. The diagnostic space is a very competitive one. And so almost everyone is going through some sort of remuneration for clinicians to entice them to do business with them. MedPlus is one of those. And so we do give commissions also for the investigations that are brought to us. Even the specialist clinic referrals, we do give some sort of commissions for them also. On top of that, we do sponsor projects such as these. Over the last 2-3 years, Suntreso MBU has been a very close partner to MedPlus, whether it's neonatal health, whether it's jaundice. We are almost always available to support our clinicians to provide the healthcare our patients need. Yes, how do we get on board? After this program, I'm sure we can send a link across where any clinician can get on board, sign up, and then work with us. It is a very simple process. when we do get you registered, we will send you a code. We like that you use the codes in referring to us. It helps us identify you and know how best we get to work with you also. And from there, we would say you refer. Thank you. So thank you so much. Aside the link being sent, there's a QR code here also that sends you to the link. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Have a nice one.
Please, a round of applause. He's done very well. He's kept within time. I think he looks like a very time-conscious man. Yes, and he's done very well to keep within time. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. Please, have we scanned the code, or we use the link? If you use Techno, you can't scan because you can't zoom. We use iPhone there. Professor say it's only iPhone that can take pictures. Well, so and there you can stand here and. Okay, so please, we are almost rounding up. Maka almost so we are rounding up down. If you saw the program outline, you see that we have skipped a lot of things because we didn't start early. But this aspect is very important because we have prepared for it. We can't let people prepare and then you come and say, yeah. No, we'll have to do it. So we'll have a short panel discussion on the events we have discussed. In fact, we have reduced the number of questions that were supposed to be discussed because of our time. So quickly, I will invite the moderator for this session, Aisha Bauer from Asia, please. Yes, please come in front. And those standing in-house, please settle down for us. The program is not ended. And then we have our panel members, Rebecca Menu from Kumasi South Hospital, and then Foster Bayu. It's Foster, right? Yes, Foster Bayu from all the way from Tumu. Can you imagine? From Tumu. So that is so you can see that we have really prepared for this launch. So please, those at the back, please settle for me so that we can take part in this. This is a very important aspect. Yes, so I'll hand over to Aisha to lead the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Please, I know we are all exhausted, but as he rightly said, we are cutting down some of the questions so that we can wrap up easily. So we are expecting around, by 25 minutes, we should be done with this session. And I am your moderator for this session, and today we are going to have a discussion on understanding the stigma and cultural barriers and proposed community-based solutions for change. I know our keynote speaker and other speakers have made our work easier because they've tackled most of the issues that we want to talk about. So we'll just move on straight to what we are supposed to do, and then we'll end it quickly. So first of all, I would like my panel members to introduce themselves, but to open up this discussion, I will just touch a bit on some of the measures that we are going to employ to ensure equitable care for every preterm baby that we are going to care for, especially now that we are going to enter the November month, which is the preterm month. So the first thing that I will talk about is respectful care for our mothers. It is very essential as health workers, we have to make sure that we are giving respectful care to our mothers. And this will require a multifaceted approach. So for example, we have to ensure that our health workers are trained on the need for customer care relation, communication, because as our speakers said, our mothers get exhausted on the ward and all the time they want to be spoken to in the right way. Again, we also tackle much on family-centered care because our discussion is centered around that, involving the family members and then the mothers as well, providing support groups and resources beyond the admission when they go back into their communities. what they are expected to do to ensure that these babies that we have cared for in the facilities are really thriving in our communities. So I will just move on to our panel members, give them the microphone to introduce themselves, the role they play at their various workplaces, and then also tell us something that drives their passion in the topic that we are going to discuss this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aisha. Okay, good evening. Please, I'm Rebecca Menu. I work at Kumasi South Hospital. I've been taking care of newborns over 10 years now. And I would say what drives or what moves me to be on this panel is over the years that I've been caring for newborn, I have seen how stigma hinders caregivers in seeking for timely and timely care. So that's why we are here. So I will let Foster to.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I am Foster Bayu, and I'm a pediatric nurse. I've been working with newborns, preterms inclusive, and their families for the past 5 years. And I must say the topic is worth discussing because we have seen and experienced a lot of mothers go through trauma because of stigma. And so we are here to share our experiences and experiences of mothers that they have also shared with us. Every preterm is a fighter and not a case. Thank you.
So thank you very much. So from the introduction, we can see that we are going to get a lot of insight because looking at the cadre of people or panel members we are going to get more and more about preterms and stigma. So I'll first start with Madam Foster. Please, I would like us to discuss some of the stigma because I know as healthcare workers and workers who have been caring for preterm mothers and their families as well, we have various forms of stigma. So I would like to know some of the stigma that premature babies face in our community and some of the cultural beliefs that fuels the stigma.
Okay. Forms of stigma preterm mothers go through and their families: discrimination and isolation. You know, most of these babies back in the community are labeled as pred babies. They are labeled as babies who will amount to nothing. They are not seen as babies who will survive. And so mothers do not have that confidence to even care for their babies. So most of the time they shy away from really showing their children in public. They do not have anyone to confide in them. And you know, back in the community, if any situation is not accepted, people don't want to associate themselves with you. People feel like if you have a preterm baby and I handle that baby and I get pregnant, I may also give birth to a preterm baby. And we can all see in society, if someone has a plumpy baby, everyone wants to hold that baby because the baby is plumpy and looks nice. But immediately you have a tiny baby, people don't want to handle. So mothers do not even have that confidence. You know, they feel discriminated against to mingle with people in the society because their babies are associated with so many forms of labels. Thank you.
So thank you very much. And thank you very much. And what she said might sound straight to some of us because she's also coming from the northern part of Ghana. So it's possible that way. So thank you very much for sharing this experience. Madam Rebecca, please, I would like to know what or how does the stigma affect health-seeking behavior and survival? Because we know it's an issue, that is why we are here. So what do you think about stigma that affects health-seeking behavior?
Thank you. So I will share a story. We nursed a preterm baby of 26 weeks, gestational age, baby Adiza. And that was the fifth child, but the mother had already lost 4. So we were so particular about this baby. We took all, like made all intervention possible to make sure that this baby survive and thrive. And then the in-law came in. She said, it's Asram. So we took time with her and with the mother, the father. We tried our possible best to counsel them. Then at 32 weeks, just the corrected age, we discharged. So we were doing follow-up. Baby Adiza will come with mom. And then all of a sudden, she wasn't picking our calls. So it was a signal. We did a follow-up. She said they believe that it was a case. And then that's why the baby was that tiny. So they want to sort to traditional medicine. To cut long story short, we lost baby Adiza because she came back with neck. The mother had given enema, nasal instillation, a lot. Until now, Adiza hasn't given birth again. So stigma is not something that like we should play with. It has a whole lot implications on like outcomes of our preterms. All because they said it was Asram. They had to sort to medical, traditional remedies, and it didn't end well. So stigma is really a dilemma.
Thank you very much. This is so touching. But then it's real, and we are facing these in our facilities because sometimes you even call them for follow-ups, and then the responses they give you is that, oh, Mamines have traveled. But when you initially call them and pretend as if you are talking to them and you say, oh, mewa ebia KJT and like you pretend that you are not a healthcare giver, they will tell you, oh, mewo ebia hojo or something. But the moment you call them that they should come for follow-ups, the person will tell you that she has traveled. All because when they go back into the communities, there are a whole lot of things that are being done for these babies. And when they go back, if the education doesn't sink well, they go back and they listen to the community members. And then at the end of the day, we lose these babies. But for us, we have recorded in our books that baby is alive, but we lose them in the community. So thank you very much for sharing this. Madam Foster, please, I would like to know, I know that even at the facility level, there are stigma because sometimes we can have 2 babies on the ward, and then maybe during ward rounds, maybe one doctor or one nurse will say, oh, yeah, the term and away there. So no, sometimes we, even the healthcare providers, we even pass some derogatory statements. Sometimes we label them, we stereotype some of these babies. And I know it's happening in our facilities. And can you tell us something about that?
Yes, as for stigma at the facility, we observe it. You know, even when a baby is brought to the NICU, for community members out there, they think that the baby is a preterm. They don't think that sick newborns come to NICU. Any preterm, any baby that is brought to the NICU is a preterm. So the label is already out there that so and so baby has been sent to NICU, and it means the baby has been sent to put in a colabar, which is a bottle. So the label is already out there that your baby has been put in a bottle. Then you come inside the facility, inside the unit, you have mothers who babies are 10. They had all of them, their attention is drawn to the preterm. And it's not so nice that only me, everybody is looking at me and my baby. The preterm mother doesn't want all that unnecessary attention, which doesn't seek to support them, but rather like sympathize with them in a very unfortunate manner, like, oh, hey, this your baby. The kind of comments they make, will this your baby survive? And when they go out to even sit among themselves, they are gossiping about the preterm out there, inside there. A preterm term father or relative can come in to see their baby, and their attention is rather on the preterm. And they're asking, is this a full B? As though it's only those people who deserve to have a preterm. Yeah, so we experience it a lot.
Very much. And so, since we know these stigma exists, even sometimes the mothers bringing their babies for follow-ups, carrying them in the kangaroo mother care position. Sometimes the way people will look at them outside, why is it that you alone, you are carrying your baby in front, whilst others carry theirs at the back? So it's everywhere, from facility level, community, even among the family members, there's that kind of stigma. So now that we've launched this preterm month, which is November, from tomorrow, there are a lot of activities that will be going on. And I believe most of us here are from different facilities and would want to go and make a difference, change the narrative out there. So what do we think are some of the measures that we can put in place to reduce the stigma that we are facing, because it's really affecting us? We might think the babies have survived in our books. Oh, we've not recorded any mortality. Yes, but then when they go back into the communities, we lose them. And then it doesn't give a clear picture of how well we are doing. So I would want to know some of the best measures that whilst we are going out there to preach about preterm birth and all that, what measures or what message can we send across in the communities to ensure that these stigmas are being curtailed?
Thank you. So this month we are creating awareness on preterm, and it's a collaborative awareness. We can't do it alone. So even if we care for them, we will discharge them into the community. So we need to get everybody on board. So community engagement is one key thing. We need our community leaders, our queen mothers, our market women, pastors, imam, everyone should be educated about preterm. And the key message I want to send across is every preterm deserves a very good start. Just like Dr. Nana said, every preterm deserves a quality, good start. So we should send that message across. And also, we should talk about preterm not being a case, but being a medical condition. And it can happen to everybody. So it's not a case. It's not anybody that is bewitching somebody, or it's like it's a crime that somebody has committed. That's why the mother has given birth to a preterm. It's a medical condition. So that is the message I want us to send across. And also, when we are creating awareness, we should talk about the short-term and the long-term complications as well, so that everybody will know the need for seeking for timely quality care. Because most of the times when they deliver at home, and because of the stigma attached to like the preterm, the size of the baby and everything, they find it very difficult to even seek for care when there's the need. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sure.
So just to add to that, when we are giving education, let us not leave out health workers as well, because it's not all health workers that are knowledgeable about preterm and preterm management. I must tell you, a nurse had a preterm and was in the unit. Her colleagues were coming around visiting. All we thought was they are coming to give her emotional support. But unfortunately, these were staffs that were rather spreading rumors out there that, oh, her baby self will not make it the next day. And they were making derogatory remarks about the baby. They will come and look secretly and go out and spread news that the baby will not make it. Unfortunately, it got to the ears of this mother, and she was very upset. She approached some of those nurses. So you can imagine, it's not only the regular people that are behaving ignorantly, even some health workers, nurses, you can imagine. And they come and I'm the in charge, I will make comments like, oh, next year I will let Matron bring you to Niku. And they are shying away. No, I cannot work here. So I think it's not only the regular, it's not only community people who are not educated, but even some of us as health workers, we all need education. Let's include them in our awareness creation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So as she rightly said, the education shouldn't only be centered in the community. The health givers are also part, because some of us even lack information when it comes to the birth of the preterm baby. Okay, so as part of creating awareness, what I will add is that we also have to strengthen that part when it comes to social media, because now the youth are resorting more to social media. Today, my ward is in JHS in one of the schools, and she told me that, Mommy, they said we should wear pink to school. We can also do same, because these child, they are growing up, and then one day they also have deliveries, and then at the end of the day, some of them will also deliver preterm babies. So if we don't get the information to them as early as possible, the community members and the community doctors will do that, and then they will get to a point we cannot control it. So let's create awareness even in school. Let's involve our public health nurses when they go for outreaches. They should also involve some of these teenagers and let them know about premature birth, that it can happen to anybody. Those of us on TikTok who have social media handles, let's also ensure that we are doing the work by educating the public on social media. If you have the chance to go on any radio station, TV station, let's spread the message. Okay, so I want to say a very big thank you, even though our time was short and we've managed to do something. And I would like to say a very big thank you to all of us. And we're supposed to even give time for the audience to ask some questions, but unfortunately, time is not on our side. So if you have any question, you can channel it to any doctor or specialist who can give you the answers. So thank you very much, and we appreciate your time. All right.
Please do it better for them. Those online, you can also clap. They have done an amazing job. In fact, this was an aspect I didn't even think about. Stigma for mothers who have delivered preterm. In fact, I have heard so much. I've worked in the district for a long time. Say, we say, I say, in Sumuba Niyako, you know. So many statements that when you hear, they are very, and then just like she said, some are even coming from health workers. So it's very important, and I like the avenue you give. Social media is key. Social media now, you see the pink month, it's everywhere. Even when you don't want to see pink, you are seeing pink. Can't we do same for prematurity? Because it is premature death is one of the highest cause of under 5 mortalities. Neonatal mortality is one of the highest causes of under 5. And when it comes to neonatal mortality, prematurity is also, so if you're able to reduce that, then of course we are improving on our under 5 mortalities. So we are almost done. Thank you so much for being faithful and then staying with us to the end. I have seen the faces of all those who have stayed and those who have left. Yes, Anas, I have seen you. Yes. So we will take the final words from our big man from the high table, Prof. Enchi. He had joined us in the course of the program, so we'll give him the floor. Once we are here, we have to hear from the head of department for of our unit. So, Prof, please, over to you.
Yeah, so I think, honestly, this stigma, I haven't worked in the district before, apart from some locum I did 2 months in St. Mary's Hospital at Drobo. I've never worked in the district. So having heard of this stigma, I know they have challenge surviving, a lot of challenges, but a lot of improvement has been made or achieved. Well, before, when I was training, if your baby is less than 1 kilogram, the chances of surviving was quite low. But nowadays, children are surviving. I heard somebody 0.6, even Asamai. 0.6 in Asamai is surviving. So that is amazing. And so I think it tells us about advancement in medical care. We are doing the right thing. And I would say we should encourage ourselves to do that. But this stigma thing that you said, I've never heard in my ear. That because of a preterm stigma. If all the things you are telling me, then that is true. So that is another area that probably we need to focus on. And I agree with what my sister said, that even among the healthcare workers, we need to stress upon that. I would say that we are doing our best, keeping children under 1 surviving. That is a great job. Let us continue to do. I'll just end. So all healthcare workers, but let us desist if you are involved in stigma and spreading false information. That is dangerous. And we must start first. Purge yourself of that. And as we do this awareness creation and education, let us try and tell them. It is only a question of the timing of delivery. I mean, somebody comes earlier than this. And so why should that be a case? I think we need to, all of us, our hands on deck to make sure that these unfortunate tiny babies, we give the best to them. Almost everybody is religious in Ghana, whether you worship idol, that is also a form of religion, isn't it? And what we must know is that the God that we all propose that we are worshiping, whether it's the idol God or is whatever God, another God, he's so passionate about vulnerable people in society. The heart of God is always towards the vulnerable people. We know children are vulnerable, and that is why people want to protect children. Newborns are vulnerable, but for the preterm, it's even more vulnerable. And for me, if we commit ourselves to make sure that we do the best we can for them, we are not only fulfilling our mission as healthcare workers, but I'm telling you, we are also performing a religious activity. Let us go on and try and dissuade people's mind from all the negative connotations they say about preterm. It's not bad. It's not the fault of these children. Unfortunately, they've been born earlier than expected. And it is you and me must do the best we can to make sure that we survive. So thank you very much for those who have stayed. I came late, but I think everybody has gone. And so for those who have stayed, you really deserve applause. And I wish all of us, as a nation, a happy celebration of the preterm baby. Thank you very much.
All right, so we are in the final stages. So at this point, I would want to invite the Deputy Medical Director of Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, Dr. Labi, to officially declare our launch for the month of November. Please, a round of applause.
Thank you very much. When I look on the banner, I can see that November will be a very interesting month. And I'll show you my phone. I made sure I enjoyed the month of October because it was Pink Month. So, yes. So creating awareness on breast cancer. Yes. So I'm looking for something else that's purple for November. I have the singular pleasure and honor at this time to declare the Prematurity Awareness Month duly launched. So may we all have a month that is impactful, a month in which within the hospital, in the community, on TV, wherever we have, let our voice be heard. And may we advocate for all the things we need so that we can support our premature babies, the families, and the communities who experience issues with prematurity. Thank you very much.
Please keep clapping, keep clapping. Now it's officially launched. So November is officially Prematurity. Yes. So please, all the activities lined up, all the questions you couldn't ask today, please keep them, because every week, every day, you'll be going to the radio, to the TV, wherever. When you go to, you see anybody, just like you share the gospel, that is if you share the gospel. Then you share the prematurity and then educate someone. So at this point, our day is almost done. I'll invite Dr. Mami Frema to give us the vote of thanks, and then we'll say the closing prayer, and then we'll be out of here. Thank you so much. You've been a wonderful audience.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Prof, good evening, Dr. Labi. So I'm so excited because those of us who work in the districts, when you see the tiny ones surviving, We are very, very happy. And Ashanti being the region to host or to lead the Prematurity celebration even makes me more excited. So I want to thank God for making today a very successful day for us. When we're starting, we didn't know how the day was going to be, but thanks be to God, we've had a very great day with great presentations. The rep from the Ashanti Regional Minister has left, Mr. Chum Samuel in Cancer. He is actually the Deputy Director, Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council. He represented Ashanti Regional Minister. I want to say thank you to him. My own Dr. Labi, I remember when I was doing my house job in ONG, he said I was his little sister. I want to say thank you for coming. Prof, everyone's favorite prof. Yeah, our father. Even when you are in the district, Prof will meet you and would want an update on your life. Prof, want to say a very big thank you for gracing our occasion. And anyone who was invited but couldn't come and was duly represented, want to say thank you. Dr. Nana has left. Sweet Dr. Geraldine, want to say thank you to you for such a great presentation. And baby Amma Vanessa, who made some of us cry, want to say thank you. We know she's not here, but she would hear. Our panelists, Sister Becky, Aisha, please, if I get the name wrong, pardon me. Sister Bayo Foster, want to say thank you. You have shared a lot with us. Those of us in the district could relate. Those in the cities couldn't relate, including the whole prof. You couldn't relate. Yeah. So today, we, the villagers, we have taught the city people something new. Want to say a very, very big thank you. And this program wouldn't have been successful if NEC, the National Executive Council, hadn't pushed us, hadn't supported us, hadn't given us a chance. So to our leadership, I want to say thank you. And the able LOC, you know, our LOC chair delivered 2 days ago. So it tells you how strong we are. LOC, we are very grateful. Joe T, LOC chair with our fresh baby, LOC chair baby. Want to say thank you. Our main sponsor for today's program was MedPlus. They have left, but I know our appreciation would go to them. And finally, to those of us who survived the long stay, so we are preterm babies because we are survivors. Want to say thank you to each and every one of us for staying till like 6:30 p.m. There are mothers here whose children are waiting for them, wives and all, but we decided to stay. We don't take it for granted at all. So our take-home message, equitable care for every preterm baby. Every preterm baby, irrespective of where they are born, should have the same level of care to improve the outcomes and quality of life. So we wouldn't say that if you were born in Confanochi, your chances would have been better. We would say that whether you are born in Presby Hospital, Agogo, or you are born in Temu, or you are Tumu, you are born in Tumu, or you are born in Confanochi, the chance of survival is the same with better quality of life. Once again, I want to say thank you to us all. God bless you.
Let's clap for Dr. Mami Frima. People are saying, "Ota order for every temu." All right, thank you so much. So, please, there's a small package for us at the exit. So when we are leaving, please when near Akayoso, Mr. Emu. So please, when you are going, please pass by the back, and then if you don't take it to me, my boot is big. So please, let's take the closing prayer from. Yes, and our online, please, how many are left online? Because we started with over 100 people. Now, we had close to, at a point, I think we were 150 or 134 thereabouts. But the faithful ones, just like some have left in-house, now we have about 67 people left still online. Thank you so much online. We are grateful for your, and please give us some claps so that we know you are there. Yes. So Dr. Faustina will give us the closing prayer, and then We will take our small package at the back and then we'll be out of here. Thank you so much. You've been a wonderful audience. And clap for me too. I've been a wonderful MC, haven't I? Yeah, they said me call last hour. And I made me a deliver, so I deserve a clap offering. Yes, I have done well.
Please, shall we be upstanding? We've been sitting for so long so that we take our closing prayer. Dear Lord Jesus, we are very grateful unto you for the lives that you have granted unto us. We thank you for using us to bless these little ones. We pray that you continue to make us pencils in your hands that would be able to write beautiful stories about these little ones you bring our way. As we leave here, may you go with us and bless us in all that we do. In Jesus' name have we prayed. Amen.
Thank you all. God bless you so much. Almost.